Okay, game. One true love. Let us talk about one true love. I'll tell you a story, and love here will serenade us with a song. All of us here, at least at one point, was surprised upon hearing that Kentan, to our classmates and friends, or Brian and me, are together. And yes, that includes us. From mere classmates to groupmates to internship buddies to lifelong friends. And yes, now husband and wife. So none of us saw it coming until 2 months ago. So we take a little pause. And we've been each other's constants, known only to those who knew us intimately. 12 years ago, we entered CIM to study medicine. Among the 220 plus students, he seemed to be a standout for me. I didn't know why, and I didn't realize it then. I just thought maybe it is because of his clean uniform, or colored hair, or grades during one recognition day, or the fact that he sat right in front of me in amphitheater, and I can tell when he would notice the same peculiar things I would notice on whoever is speaking in front of the class. I noticed him, but never really paid attention. By third year med school, we became groupmates. Our SGD group is composed of about 10 students, and usually they become your closest friends that year, should you get along well. And well, we did get along well. We talked about everything, from learning why he chose nursing and eventually pursued medicine, his motivations for studying then, and we were both in long-term relationship from college. I find him nice to talk to, an eager listener, even to my most random thoughts. We've grown fond of each other, although our personal time is just limited to the few minutes before and after our 2 hours SGD class 2 to 3 times a week. And I remember cheering and supporting him when he courted one of our roommates. By fourth year, the most dreaded internship year in medicine, we became roommates again. We journeyed the whole year with our other friend Krill. The ups and downs of our duties became our entertainment. And unlike most interns, we look forward to our duty days and just openly accepted the challenges of medicine. For 365 days, we are part of our day-to-day. Without label, we became each other's best friends, the one we don't want to cause any trouble, yet we know we can always count on. And that's all we ever needed to know, that we will always be in each other's lives for good. On the side, I saw him fell and fall out of love a couple of times. In the past, and together with Krill, we made sure he knows that we'll always be rooting for his happiness, regardless of who he chooses to be with. Postgraduate internship, board exam preparations, residency, and fellowship years passed, where we were physically apart 99.9% of the time, and in those 0.1% where we can be together, either physically or virtually, we are truly right in that moment. 10 years with no malice, no ulterior motives, just pure friendship, a special one at that. Our families always knew that the other existed, but just like us, expected nothing more. 2 months ago, we went on a retreat, a friendly date as usual, but this time as singles. And for the first time in a long time, after looking at the same direction, finally, we looked at each other and met eye to eye. And looking back, it's as if the universe have always given its approval. Like when we talked about giving a tip, the same amount of our bill as part of our practice of gratitude and abundance mindset. And what are the chances that on 02/20/2022, our first meeting of this year, our restaurant bill was 2,222. Or when we spontaneously went live in Facebook with the most stunning sunset we've ever seen. in a random place we've never been. And during our retreat, when the stars are astronomically aligned, and when we finally decided to get married and just randomly searched Google for a lucky day in August, 18 showed up. And thus the hashtag one for eternity. Batanes, being a place known for storms, had a sunny forecast amidst weeks of rain. And during one of our prenup shoot, a quick drizzle passed by and paved the way for a double rainbow to show up. And lastly, on our wedding day, when the forecast changed into heavy rains, the sun set beautifully in Basco and gave us a clear night sky in the lighthouse while poured a kilometer away from our open area venue. For less than a minute, it sprinkled only for our clear umbrellas to be used and gave us a memory of a lifetime. For the first time, everything is in the flow. We don't need to force anything. There's nothing to go against with, and my sister's words became truer than ever. Once you've found the one, it's all green lights. That and more made us believe in magic. All those years. Yes, we were both in a relationship then, but that proved to be insignificant based on our personal records. Initially, we thought it's just the superficial stuff, like our physical difference, or the fact that I know what traits is attractive for him, or what I usually need from my partner. But as we got to know each other in a deeper level this time, we realized why. As it turned out, our friend Jane was right all along. We were both afraid. Afraid to be rejected, afraid to fail in the most important thing we hold close to our hearts, love. One of the things we talked before is about being competitive in life, and how I am not very competitive as a person, and how we should only engage in things we know we will surely come out as winners. Little did I know, those words stuck with him, and I live the same. I realize now that he is the only person outside my family that I look up to, the person that I'm always amused with, no matter how crazy or childish stuff he would do. I would remember what a good listener he is in our conversations, yet he would never look me in the eye. And so I just accepted that he never liked looking at my face. But maybe because of our conversations, he kept me as a friend. And that's my side of the story. While for him, he also never questioned himself. why he cannot seem to look me straight in the eye, although he swears it's not about how I look. And in his words, I always seem to be so far from him, worlds apart as he would call it, and that he's just been striving to be closer to where I am for as long as he can remember. So yes, we've always looked up to each other, always amazed with one another without the other knowing. And that led to a fear of failure, and so we chose to keep each other safe under the umbrella of friendship, something that nothing can break apart. But thank God, finally, blinders are off, and we grew courageous enough to open our eyes, accepted what we always felt, unknowingly buried deep down, and allowed love to finally come out and see that he is the one for me as I am the one for him. Your one true love is that someone you'll always be amazed with. Those who knew us both or individually, especially our closest friends and families, you can attest to the fact that we've always been aversive to the concept of marriage. That despite being in a relationship almost half our lives, getting married wasn't just part of the serious deal. We've thought about it, but never to a point of making real plans to make it happen. It was only on the fateful day of June 25, yes, this year, 2022, while we journeyed in a traditional Babaylan spiritual healing in Batangas when it revealed to him that he always liked me. While I was preoccupied with my visions of the future, family, and the vastness of the universe, his vision was only limited to one thing, me. Hesitantly that day, he accepted that indeed, underneath the surface of friendship, there is love. And it didn't take long for him to show it, although he tried to hide it. So before we did goodbye on the 26th, for the first time in a decade, we held hands. And he kissed me in the forehead before he flew back to Cebu. Despite my initial defenses that there's really nothing in between us, that his visions were merely because of our close friendship, I woke up on the 27th, just 2 days after, realizing I can't continue to pretend that there isn't really something more. So I sent him a message. Did I friend zone you too much? And he honestly replied, no. And that's what makes it crazy. Because all these years, he was as convinced as I was that there's really nothing more beyond being friends. But hiding in plain sight, he'd always been in love with me. The moment I read that, suddenly, in an instant, it dawned on me how I always loved him ever since I can remember. I don't know when it exactly started because it is no secret that I love him. I just didn't know that it is this kind. And so, after 5 days of being chatmates, I flew to Cebu to meet him, and after 6 hours of being together for the first time, more than friends, he asked me if I will marry him. And I answered, anytime. For the longest time that we've been openly rejecting the idea of marriage, we now realize that it is simply because of one thing. We haven't found our one true love yet. Because yes, even now that we are already married, we still don't like marriage in general, and we don't advise anyone on getting married unless they already felt it is the only thing that they must do. As what love says here, it's when you realize you can no longer take the thought of that person to have even a slight chance of being with someone else other than you. That is when you know you want to secure that person that you love, you need, you want, all at the same time. And when the feeling is mutual, then indeed, there's really nothing else to do. Just like in the song, it felt like it was written in the stars and that the choice was never ours. We realized he was born for me, and all these years, I've walked the path only leading to him. But as we go back to our senses, and the surreal and magical moments subsided, that is when love realized that he has a choice. And he chose me, and I knew since that day, I chose him. These past few weeks, we've discovered more layers. We've seen each other's first, including the other side of us we didn't know existed before. And just when we thought we stopped being amazed with one another, that is when we realized how much love we have inside. Because when all the glitters and greatness and glory are gone, we realized our love didn't falter, and it's because our love is not for the external positive persona we show the world, but for the plain, simple, and beautiful soul we first saw and fell in love with more than 10 years ago. And that is why we are here today.
But there's one thing
Looking back in the years that passed, we've been in each other's constant. We've lived separate lives, but we've lived separate lives. Other than our group chat, HITM, or History in the Making with Grim, we are almost non-existent in our everyday. Him in Cebu and me in Bacolod, we've only seen each other 1 to 2 times a year for the last 8 years, none during the pandemic. During those times, unknowingly, we were growing individually. And it's not just about our professions, career, or chosen field, but our own person. And in a distance, we've been cheering and admiring each other for every milestone, big or small. Each one of us achieved. I remember the last few times we saw each other as friends, and how we talked about how great it feels to be living the life we are living, and how awesome are the possibilities the future can bring. I was sharing with him my plans for myself, and I was likewise as excited for him, knowing his life will only get better. This excitement even grew when we realized we were both single, without responsibilities or commitment, and free to finally do whatever we want to do. Yes, we've both already let go of the idea of finding the one, and we were at ease with singlehood and all the exciting things that comes with it. Yet now, we cannot help but be grateful that the same excitement is doubled to just imagine how the future is brighter, knowing that we are going to do this life's adventure together. We realized that even if it seems like we did nothing to be in this point where we found each other, all those times that we spent developing ourselves, improving whatever we can improve, and just continue to grow in aspects where we can grow, those steps led us to this period. Our quest in finding our own being unknowingly opened the door for us to find the one that's meant for us. The words of Khalil Gibran now make sense. Think, not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. So yes, this is a story about us finding our one true love, and it happened when we stopped looking. Now, me and Love here, sharing with you our dearest family and friends, an important moment in our life before we officially begin our life together as one.
Song.